Hey, bold and the beautiful fans. It is time for your weekly prediction edition. And we are diving deep this week. We've got Brooke Logan absolutely coming apart at the seams when she realizes what Hope has actually done. Ridge making a move that nobody is going to see coming. Liam Spencer finally getting a spine about something. Taylor Hayes caught in the middle of a war she did not sign up for. And Finn getting pulled back into the orbit of a woman who almost destroyed his family. It is a lot. I'm Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got predictions for Brooke and Ridge, for Hope and the Logan launch fallout, for Liam and his next move, for Taylor and Finn, and for Steffi, and what she does when everything blows up in her face at once. And hey, if you are not already following us, please click subscribe because you do not want to miss a single episode. Now let's get into our predictions, which are always based on official bold and the beautiful spoilers. Our first prediction: Brooke completely loses it when she finds out about Hope and Logan. Now, we already know from spoilers this coming week that Brooke is going to find out, and I mean truly find out, what Hope has been up to. And I don't mean she's just going to hear a rumor or catch a whisper in the hallway. No. Brooke Logan is going to get the full picture dropped in her lap. And based on what we've been watching, this is going to be an absolute meltdown. Now Brooke has spent weeks trying to figure out who Katie's mysterious new designer is, and she has been making a fool of herself doing it. She showed up at Logan with Ridge. She tried to storm the building. She issued ultimatums to Katie that frankly Katie just laughed at. And now when the truth lands, Brooke is not going to be able to play it cool. She is going to feel blindsided. She is going to feel betrayed, and honestly, she is going to feel humiliated because she stood in that Spencer Tower lobby making threats and demands while her own daughter was sitting 20 feet away hiding behind a partition. Now here's what I think is really going on underneath all of this. Brooke is not just upset about the business side of things. She's upset because Hope made a huge life decision and didn't tell her. Brooke's whole identity is tied up in being Hope's mother and being Hope's champion, and to find out that Hope didn't come to her, didn't confide in her, and actually ran to Bill and Katie Spencer of all people, that is going to cut deep. Brooke is going to take this personally even if it isn't personal, and that's going to make her reactions way more explosive than they need to be. And I think what we are going to see is Brooke overplaying her hand. She's going to say something or do something that pushes Hope further away rather than pulling her back. And Hope, who just watched her mother throw a tantrum at Logan while she was standing right there listening, is going to make a mental note about exactly who her mom becomes when she doesn't get what she wants. So instead of Brooke reeling Hope back in, she may actually cement Hope's decision to stay at Logan. And that is going to be very hard for Brooke to come back from. Our second prediction: Ridge makes a surprise move that shakes things up at Forrester Creations. So the spoilers for this week have Ridge in some very intense conversations, and we know that Eric's couture launch is the main event on the Forrester side of things. But here's what I'm thinking. Ridge has been watching this whole situation play out. Hope leaving, Zende frustrated, Steffi under pressure, Brooke spiraling, and Ridge is someone who, when things get chaotic, tends to either go very quiet and strategic or he goes full bulldozer. I think this time he goes strategic. And I think Ridge is going to make a move that surprises even Steffi. Now, there's been this undercurrent for a while of Ridge wrestling with where his loyalties sit. He loves Hope as a stepdaughter. He is Brooke's husband, but he is also a Forrester through, and his number one priority is always the survival and the dominance of Forrester Creations. So with Hope now at Logan and that launch coming, Ridge may decide to reach out to someone who can fill that gap fast. And the name that keeps floating around is someone we haven't seen step up yet, but who the show has been positioning. I think Ridge goes to someone unexpected and basically builds a surprise countermove to Logan's launch. Whether that works or whether it blows up on him is another story, but Ridge is not going to sit on the sidelines and watch Forrester get embarrassed by the Spencers. That is not in his DNA. And when Ridge Forrester decides to go to war over fashion, things get very interesting very fast. Our third prediction: Liam Spencer finally picks a side and actually sticks to it. Okay, so I know. We say this about Liam every single time, and then he reverses course by the next episode. But hear me out, because I think this time the circumstances are different. Liam has been watching Hope from a distance. He knows she left Forrester Creations. He knows she is doing something at Logan with Deacon and Bill and Katie. And the spoilers we have suggest that Liam is going to have a very direct conversation this week where he is put in a position to either support Hope or not. And I think he supports her. Not because Liam has suddenly grown a backbone, though wouldn't that be nice, but because I think Liam genuinely believes in Hope's talent, and I think he also, if we're being honest, wants to be relevant in her life again. Supporting her bold career move is one way to do that. But here's where it gets complicated. Because Steffi is also going to be needing Liam this week. And Steffi and Liam's connection never fully goes away, we all know that. So Liam picking Hope's side in any meaningful way is going to create friction on the Steffi side of things. And I don't think Liam has thought that far ahead. I genuinely don't think he's mapped out the consequences, because that's Liam. He's always reacting to the moment right in front of him, and then being shocked when the moment he left behind his feelings about it. So yes, I think Liam picks Hope's side this week. And I think by next week, he is already regretting it, or at least fielding very pointed looks from Steffi. Classic Liam Spencer behavior, honestly. Our fourth prediction. Taylor gets caught between Sheila and the life she is trying to rebuild with Deacon. So let's talk about Taylor Hayes, because Taylor is in a situation that is only going to get messier as the weeks go on. She has this lovely new thing with Deacon. They are happy. They are enjoying each other. And then here comes Sheila Carter back into the picture like a grenade with lipstick. Now the spoilers tell us that Taylor is already on edge about Sheila's return, and rightfully so, because Taylor has been on the receiving end of Sheila's particular brand of chaos before. She knows what Sheila is capable of even when Sheila is pretending to be reformed. And now with Sheila not signing the divorce papers and making mysterious moves, this roommate situation, showing up uninvited, Taylor is starting to realize that Deacon's reassurances about Sheila being changed may have been a little optimistic. Now Deacon is not lying. I think Deacon genuinely believes Sheila has grown. But believing Sheila has changed and Sheila actually being changed are two very different things, and Taylor is smart enough to know the difference. So here is my prediction. Taylor is going to have a very real, very honest conversation with Deacon where she basically says, look, I am in this with you, but you need to stop defending Sheila to me and start seeing what I see. And Deacon, to his credit, may actually listen. He loves Taylor, and he doesn't want to lose her. But the wild card is Sheila herself, because whatever she's plotting, and she is absolutely plotting something, it's going to find a way to land directly in Taylor's life, whether Taylor wants it to or not. I also think there's an interesting angle here, where Taylor ends up being the one who figures out what Sheila is really after before anyone else does. Taylor is a psychiatrist. She reads people for a living. And Sheila's psychology is not as hard to crack as Sheila thinks it is, at least not for someone with Taylor's background. So while Sheila thinks she's playing a long game in the shadows, Taylor may end up being 2 steps ahead of her. And that would be a really fun dynamic to watch play out. Our fifth prediction. Finn gets drawn back into Sheila's orbit, and it threatens everything with Steffi. Now this one is the one that has me the most worked up this week, and I think a lot of you are going to feel the same way. Because Finn and Sheila is one of those storylines that the show keeps coming back to because there's genuine emotional complexity there. Finn didn't grow up knowing Sheila. He found out she was his biological mother after years of not knowing who she was. And no matter how terrible Sheila has been, and she has been terrible, there is still this pull for Finn. Not because he approves of what she's done, but because biology is complicated and the need to understand where you come from doesn't just go away because your birth mother is a sociopath. The spoilers this week have Finn in some situations where Sheila's presence is going to be unavoidable. And I think what we are going to see is Finn struggling with his reaction to her. He doesn't want to feel anything toward Sheila. He knows he shouldn't. He knows what she did to him, to Steffi, to their family. But he's human, and she is still his mother on some level, and that is not a switch you can just flip off. Now Steffi is going to be watching this very carefully. Steffi has zero patience for anything Sheila-related, and rightfully so, and she is not going to be understanding if she senses Finn softening even slightly. So this week I think we are going to see some real tension between Finn and Steffi that doesn't come from anything either of them did wrong. It comes from a situation that's essentially impossible. Sheila is back. She is causing trouble, and Finn is being pulled in multiple directions at once. My specific prediction here is that Sheila is going to say or do something this week specifically designed to make Finn feel like she needs him. Whether that's playing the victim, manufacturing a crisis, or using some emotional detail about his past that only she would know, Sheila is going to use the maternal bond as a weapon. And Finn, as good and as principled as he is going to struggle not to respond. And Steffi is going to see it. And it is going to be a whole thing. I also think there's a version of this where Steffi confronts Sheila directly, which is always appointment television. So let's hope the show goes there sooner rather than later. And our sixth prediction. The Logan launch does not go smoothly, and Hope's debut moment gets complicated. So we've talked about the timing of this launch in relation to Eric's couture line, and I still think Katie is going to try to schedule them simultaneously as a strategic move to keep Ridge and Steffi and Brooke occupied at Forrester, while Hope debuts at Logan. Smart on paper. But here is what I think goes wrong. Something leaks. Whether it's a photo, whether it's a source inside Logan, whether it's Brooke somehow getting hold of information she shouldn't have, something about Hope's involvement gets out before Katie can control the narrative. And that means instead of Hope having this triumphant reveal moment on her own terms, the launch gets overshadowed by the drama around it. Now that doesn't mean the line fails. The designs are strong. Deacon's involvement gives it an emotional storyline that the press will eat up, and Hope is genuinely talented. The collection can still be a success even if the launch itself is messy. But I think Hope is going to have a moment this week where she wonders whether she made the right call leaving Forrester. Not because she regrets her talent or her designs, but because she looks at the chaos surrounding her and thinks, is this really better than what I left? And the answer she lands on is going to define where her story goes for the next several months. I think ultimately Hope decides yes, this is worth it, but she is going to have to fight for that conviction. And I think Deacon is going to be a huge part of giving her that final push to own her decision completely. The other thing I want to flag here is that Bill Spencer being invested in this launch is not a neutral thing. Bill doesn't get involved in anything without wanting something in return or without it eventually becoming about Bill in some way. And right now he's being very supportive, very hands-off, very benevolent benefactor, and that's great. But how long does that last? If Hope's launch is a massive success, does Bill want more control? Does he want credit? Does his involvement start to reshape what Hope for the future at Logan even is? I think that's a slow burn storyline the show is setting up, and it's going to be really interesting to watch unfold over the next few weeks. So to recap, Brooke melts down when she learns the truth. Ridge goes strategic and makes a surprise countermove. Liam backs Hope but creates friction with Steffi. Taylor gets real with Deacon about Sheila. Finn gets pulled towards Sheila, and it rattles his marriage, and the Logan launch hits turbulence even as the collection itself shines. It is going to be a big week, and honestly, every single one of these storylines has me on the edge of my seat. Thank you so much for being a loyal listener. Make sure you are following us wherever you get your podcasts, because new episodes drop all the time, and you never want to be behind on the tea. Soap Dirt is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else you listen. We will see you in the next one. That comes in at well over 6,000 characters and mirrors the original structure. A casual opening with host introduction, 5+ numbered predictions with deep speculation, conversational asides, character psychology breakdowns, and a warm sign-off plugging the podcast platforms.